I have been challenged to take down Uberoth with just bees or with a bee build in general. The challenge was not very well specific, but I kinda made some rules out of it for myself. I want to defeat Uberoth. I want to do it with just bees. There's a lot of tools the Beastmaster, the Druid, the class has in minions, and I wanted to only use supportive other minions or other minions in a supportive way because I wanted the bees to do the main job. And the bees do quite the job up to a specific point. The next point was I want, as I said, the main damage has to be the bees, so no reflect shenanigans with the shield and just thorn shield scaling and stuff like that, nothing of that. So, or not nothing, but just in a defensive matter. And there's a disclaimer here, I have to say, this is, well, not a scuffed build, but it is a build built around the challenge. So it does leave some tools on the table that I could use for more damage, like going into some more damage through wolves, through the beer form or stuff like that. So there is some other stuff possible to make the character overall better, but I do really like this variation and think it can actually be quite good at some point in the future. So at this point I have to say I'm stopping the challenge. I failed the challenge. I'm not going to beat Uberoth with this character, and as you can see in the background, I have tested it. The character is not really finished, but I wanted to see how far I get at this point and was like, well, even if I like quadruple my damage, which could be possible with like really min-maxed gear, this is not gonna happen. Like, not gonna happen. Like, I need so good gear that I would have to focus like at least another month just into farming gear for this character, which is just not feasible with like just for me. Not only because I just don't want to put so much time into it, but because other games are on the horizon, and also I do want to make content for YouTube as well, and I just cannot just focus 2 months completely onto one build just to finish one challenge, which sadly is not really feasible. You can see it takes me like 4 or 5 minutes just to get to the first ward bar, which is kinda crazy. Like, the damage is really low. We've beaten Uberoth, not Uberoth, but normal Aberoth on this character fairly easily. Not fast, but easily. And I hoped it would translate to some extent into Uberoth, which it does at tanking like the triple slam, and I could focus on like mainly just dodging the balls and let the fight take like 2 hours, but I really don't see myself throwing, well, myself at him so often to work this out. So, yeah, here I have to say the challenge has failed, but I still wanted to present the character because it has been quite a fun character. It's just not competitive in its current form to other like actually good builds, because this has a lot of problems, but I want to put the problem part at the end and want to talk about the character for now first. So we're taking a look at the gear of the character and how good the gear actually is for how little the character is doing, because we are running 2 red rings, we're running a double tier 7 body armor, we're running Immortal Vice, we're running perfect Foot of the Mountains with 2 perfect tier 7 mods. Like, we have a very good rolled Bloodseekers. I actually have 2 and tested both, but the change isn't enough. We have a 3 LP Jungle Queens with tier 7 and tier 6 Slam. We have a very good helmet, which could be improved upon, but it's still very good. We have a Nihilus, which probably is the worst rolled part of the character, which is quite insane. Then we have Scales of Limniscate, which would be upgradable to a 2 LP version with mini damage over time and all attributes, but that's so unlikely. Like, I've tried to farm a bit for it, but you would realistically want a double tier 7 on that, and you just need so many, and they need to be, well, so well rolled, and they are so difficult to get that it's just not feasible, as I said, in a realistic time frame. And also we have the idols, which did eat like 5 million favor. So yeah, let's take a proper look at the actual gear. As I said, we have 2 red rings. These look very similar. 16 attunement on both of them. These basically are the red rings I'm using on both of my, well, Druid characters. They just are very good. Very good offense due to the attunement scaling. Very good, well, defense due to all attributes, health regen, dodge rating. All of these are very strong. And of course the 10% less damage taken. Attunement is super strong due to the Blood Keepers because it has the mod of these gain additional health, increased damage through attunement, and increased physical penetration through strength. I have another Bloodseekers here with 16 attunement and a slightly worse health mod, but the attunement does actually outdamage the 1% loss in damage per point of attunement. And here I have a relic that I had 2 of these, but the first one failed and slammed into this one. And I hoped I would get both the tier 7s onto one of my Bloodseekers, but I haven't yet. And I, well, threw together like 15 2LP Bloodseekers to get a good rolled ones, but yeah, I haven't hit those yet. So we have to use these for now. Then for the body armor, we have 2 options as well. It's the Doublet of Honor's Toll and the Mantle of the Pale Ox. Both of these are pretty good. However, the Mantle of the Pale Ox is a little bit more defensive oriented, though it does have 2 levels to our wolves and strength, which gives damage again. And then we have the Doublet of Honor's Toll, which is a lot more offensive oriented, but it would probably need 2 offensive mods and a 3LP with 1 health mod or something. And I tried to get bleed duration and bleed chance double tier 7 in like into the body, but it's so difficult to get. I just have done hundreds of echoes without receiving a single double tier 7 that I could even try to make into. So yeah, no success there. Then we have the gloves, Immortal Vice. These are the Uberoth gloves. You could just run other gloves like the Hands of Judgment, which just give a lot of attunement, which would be very good as well. But the Immortal Vice are just extremely defensive oriented, pretty much the best defense gloves we do have in the game. Also that they give strength and I have attunement on them, so they do still provide quite a bit of offense. Then we have the Foot of the Mountains with double tier 7 attunement, strength, perfect rolled all attributes. These are pretty much unbeatable on a 2LP. You could get 3LP for like cooldown recovery in there as well, but these are like really good. So yeah. And then we have the Jungle Queen's Chaps of Holding. These are really cool because these are like very good for the character with the summon on potion use and chance to find potions, increase minion damage, increase health, 16 potion slots. All of this is just extremely good. Also dodge rating for 4 seconds when you use potions, which is very good for Foot of the Mountains again. You can see we have like 1600 dodge rating, and when we spawn all of our bees, we go to like 10k dodge rating. We have 50, 60, 70 bees. These hold like last for 10 seconds, and during mapping, as you can see in the background, or as you have seen in the background, we get a lot of potions and can spawn these all the time. The big problem with this is that you basically have to run a macro for it, because like pressing the potions all the time is just not really feasible. So you basically have to run some form of macro that lets you use potions very quickly. The problem with the Jungle Queen's Chaps is that while it provides a lot of burst in the beginning of the boss fights, if the bosses do survive the initial burst, you are losing quite a bit of power there. And not all of the bosses drop a lot of potions, so some do, which is very nice, but some don't. So there are some other belts that are competitive if you, well, fight very long bosses like Uberoth, like the Brewmasters is very good, and yeah, just as an example. Then we have the Scales of Lemniscate. These are, well, a very rare weapon that is annoying to farm because, well, you need... I do think it's like a 1 in 10 or 1 in 12 double X drop, so it's not too rare because there just isn't many double X's on, like in the game, but yeah, it's very hard to get on 2LP. Like, it's very rare to get on 2LP. We can quickly check, actually. what the rarity here is. Like, it's reroll rating, like, yeah, 12% chance to drop. And then it's 1 in 180 for 2 LP, so for Circle of Fortune, like 1 in 90. And then the roll range is so huge on minion health, and minion damage, which are the 3 mods we care about, that it's actually really difficult to get a well-rolled one. And then you need the increased damage over time and the all attributes on, like, tier 5 is okay. It's like 5 attunement, 5 strength, which is fine on a perfect relic. This would be another 30 penetration and like 80% damage. But yeah, it's rough. I mean, it's rough. You technically really want a tier 7 because otherwise it's just not really worth it to slam a so rare weapon. But yeah, very difficult to get on a 12p, so yeah, not really getting better than this at the current point. Aside from like slightly better roll, but I did try to get a 2LP one, so I just went with what I had for the 1LP slam. Then we have the helmet. I mean, this could be more offensive oriented, but the character does have like 900 health regen, and it did already drop quite a bit of health regen, so it was like at 1.5k and could be scaled up to 2.5k, but it would have to sacrifice a lot of damage for that, and I wanted to, well, have some damage at least, because you've seen it's already too low, so yeah. But quite a cool helmet. Overall, it's pretty good, but it's just not enough. And then we have the Nihilus, again, health reg. This could be more offensive oriented, but with the 15 all or 14 all res, 19 more armor, 6% increased health, already is really good. Only 11% current health loss. So the rolls, aside from the all skills, are really good, and we have a tier 7 slam on there, so yeah, overall it's a very good amulet, but could be better, could be 2LP, could be better rolled. I did try to get one. We've had, I'm not sure if they're in my stash actually, or if they are on some character. I was running around with them. I tried to roll into a better one, but we haven't had success with it yet. So yeah, that's the Nihilus. That's it. Could be better, could be worse. It is what it is. Then we have the relics. I found, as I said, like about 5 million favor into relics, just for into idols, just for the B idols. 7 B is 30, bleed is the best I have here, and 6% chance not to consume potion actually is really cool. This on tier 7 goes up to 10%, and if you had this twice, you'd have 20% to not consume a potion, which is very strong together with Jungle Queen's Chaps. And I do believe that at the point where we are getting this mod in some different form, like if we get another like 20% chance not to consume potion anywhere on items that are usable on this character, then we are talking. Because then we actually might be able to use the Jungle Queens to just spawn like 200, 300, 400 bees. Because this mod basically, as soon as you get it above 50%, just gets ridiculous if you get more. So if we get like another 20, 30, 40% of this mod, you should keep an eye on that, because that thing can scale into pure ridiculousness. And I do believe at some point we will get it, because the devs add items over time, and well, at some point they're like, hey, we could add a chance to consume potion on this item, and they're like, oh well, why not? Put it on gloves, whatever. And suddenly we have a very competitive slot for gloves, for example. So this is a mod we really have to look out for in the future, because this is what can save the build, truly. Because this is what can make the build actually go from, I'd say, maximum C tier due to the investment to S tier in just one single update, just to a single mod change. Because the build has basically everything what is needed. It has the scaling technically at some point, it has the defense. All it needs is a way to summon way more bees, which actually translate all of this into damage. So if this mod actually gets implemented in some other form, we are talking. But until then, we'll have to wait. And the other one, bees per second and minion attack speed, bleed and attack speed, basically both are very strong mods. It's hard to say which one is better. I Actually, not to consume potion. There are 3 mods that are possible here. Not to consume potions, chance to bleed for minions, and attack speed are the 3 mods you want on the suffix here. One of these 3. All of these are good. And I can show how they would look here. Like, no, not these. Do I? Actually don't have. Yeah, that's what you can see. Like, I don't even have one. It's insane. But yeah, basically, I mean, health regen would be okay as well, but as I said, I wanted to focus a bit on offense. But yeah, beats per second. You basically want this to be 6 or 7. Anything below will just feel bad because you just lose out on a lot of damage because your best scaling is just having more bees. And then, yeah, minion attack speed, bleed, chance or not to consume potions. Not to consume potions only is good while clearing. The other 2 are good for single target. Which one is better is hard to say because I have not made a calculator for it yet. And I'm not sure I will do in the near future, so... because yeah, the project basically has failed, so I won't put much more time into this, just want to share everything, and yeah. One of these 2 mods, both are good. Yeah, then we have health regen here, we have health regen, chance to inflict bleed here, we have health, endurance, bleed again, and then we just have some resistance fixing and health regen here. And that's basically it. For the blessings, we have dodge rating, armor, health regen, and all resistance, so completely defensive oriented. And yeah, we can take a look at these skills here quickly. For the wolves, we just want them to howl often and survive a bit, so we want 2 wolves, want to have a lot of attack speed, we want dodge rating on the wolves, and then just buff the bees. For the summon Spriggan, we want a defense Spriggan setup. I use creeping roots, but these are not really necessary. You can just put 1 more point of health or put into warding bark. The Spriggan is dead half the time anyways. Then you want the aura for life, you want aura of loyalty, so it heals your other minions. The biggest problem of this Spriggan is that he does not heal himself, so this is basically dead all the time. It's so fucking annoying. And even with snapshotting, it's just ridiculous how bad this is. Then you have Aura of Evasion, which is extremely important. It gives dodge rating per attunement to everybody, so basically we are scaling our dodge rating with attunement, but as soon as he's dead, we're losing the dodge rating again, so he's so annoying. Aura of Kinship is just dead, but we need it to get Aura of Retribution, and Aura of Retribution is very important just so that we are getting our crit avoidance. The base crit is irrelevant because we cannot crit, but yeah. Avoidance very, very good. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Spriggan. Then here we have the Garden of Rage and Hunter's Bane. I use these just to stay at 100 rage all the time, and so that I just can spam Thorn Shield for defense. Then we have defense and Thorn Shield and Maelstrom because we don't really have much more to do. There's a variation where you run both the Woodlands together with Beer Tree, but both the Woodland node is currently bugged. It does not give the duration, so kind of pointless to go for this because you basically just make yourself more vulnerable. Until they fix this, you should not run this. You could also run Friend of the Forest, which I would only suggest if you also are running both the Woodlands, because then together with Leaf Bearer, you actually have a really, really good defense with jumping from both Beer form into Spriggan form all the time. You resummon your Spriggan, which is very good. You get tons of ward because you have tons of armor due to the additional time on Thorn Shield duration, which is extremely good, but the entire thing falls down due to just not working right now. So if this gets fixed in a future update, this will be a very strong interaction and we probably would stop some of the other nodes here. Then we have a Terror's Blessing, which heals whenever we are using what's called Thorn Shield due to Rosebloom. Also makes it whenever we are using Thorn Shield ourselves, we also are casting a Terror's Blessing, which is extremely important because this way we can cleanse elements and heal ourselves, heal our minions, and yeah, it's pretty important. And yeah, just very good healing spell here. Also does give elemental resistance, poison resistance, and stun immunity, which is very strong. Then we have the Maelstrom, which just gives some frenzy, haste, and some chill, also some healing per second, but yeah, and also does give dodge rating. But usually I just don't really have the time to always cast it, so rarely we are hitting 6 stacks of Maelstrom, because, well, it's kind of difficult to hit 6 without, like, perma-casting. You can see, like, as soon as I do hit 6, it's getting easier, because we have Frenzy and can sustain them more easily, but yeah, just not easy enough. So basically you would probably drop out Maelstrom as soon as you get, like, the beer, and because Maelstrom pretty much is the weakest slot of this. So yeah, place Maelstrom with beer as soon as the bug is fixed, and that's it for that. Then for the skill tree, we have basically just attunement and health regen and health scaling. Nothing really too interesting. We have some attack speed scaling, then again attunement, health regen, and more defense, and here the same thing. Dodge rating, strength, aspect of the boar, we have health, and then again we have minion attack speed and health and strength. Also we get increased health regen per strength, so we are scaling through attunement and strength fairly well. That's where we are running 120 attunement, 80 strength, and we could run even more of those. So actually quite a lot of stats there. And I do think that's pretty much the most important things about showing how the character works. If there still are some questions open for how the character works, feel free to drop them down in the comments, let me know, and I will answer everything. But for now, let's jump a bit into the problems of the character. Because, well, first of all, minions don't scale well into endgame. There are exceptions to this, I know that, like crows are pretty viable in the endgame, but I wouldn't really call them good. They are acceptable compared to currently actually good builds. They don't have enough axes for scaling. They have increased minion damage for something, like attunement or strength, and they have, for example, here increased minion damage through increased penetration through strength, and they have increased attack speed, chance to bleed, the duration. All of these are some axes that are scaling off of each other, but for bees in specific, they do completely lack a skill tree, which is kind of obvious. Which is why the relic looks so broken. Because it gives 12 health per attunement, it gives 12% damage per attunement, it gives up to 6% penetration per strength, it gives up to 10 bees per second, which all look kinda crazy on paper until you realize that you basically miss 5 multipliers through a skill tree. So even this just isn't enough to make them deal significant damage. Then we have bad defense, even with snapshotting. Like, I have snapshotting set up, because I wanted to test it. I'm not a fan of snapshotting, and I really hope they do delete it, but I did want to test how valuable it actually is. And we have 350, 290, 400, 300, 300, 300, 300 here again 300, and again nearly 300, and all of these have like attunement or strength and something like that in addition. So this comes down to about like 3,500 something minion health or like. I haven't had them on in a while, and the minions still die all the time. Like, it's so annoying because it's just bad. It just is not fun to play them at a higher corruption. Like 300 was kinda playable, but still very slow. And at 500, some enemy throws a dot on the ground and all your minions just vanish. And that's like really annoying. So they really need to think about the defenses of minions, especially now again. The next thing, a lot of people probably don't know, but minions scale in multiple ways with levels. Not only do they have the, well, normal health per level scaling, but also minions level per minions scale per level of the player character. They gain reduced damage taken, and they gain more damage, which is a multiplicative offense and a multiplicative defense factor that the last 10 levels has the biggest effect for the defense, and in the early levels has the biggest effect for the offense. So the more damage in the offense is not really as important, but going from 50% reduced damage taken to 60% reduced damage taken is huge. It basically is taking 20% less damage. And this is just so important that at level 90 the build just doesn't feel that great compared to level 100, which is a huge step for a character that cannot farm like 400, 500 corruption comfortably. Because at 300 corruption, getting to level 100 takes ages, like it takes so long. And yeah, I do think this is not really cool, because while the last levels for most characters feel like, yeah, we're getting one more skill point, this is nice to have, we get like an attunement more, a point of strength more. On minion builds, it's actually extremely important to get these last levels, because they are like so impactful, just defense wise and also offense wise. It's getting from 95 to 100 basically gives you like 12-13% more defense and like 5-6% more offense, which is quite noticeable, aside from getting the skill points. So just these level scannings, I'm not sure if I like them. I do think they have a place, but in the current iteration, for me at least, it does feel bad, but that's very much up to, well, how you view it. So maybe a very controversial point, I'm not sure. Then the next factor that very much hinders this build is the rarity of mods. Getting the bleed and the B mods on your items is super difficult. These mods are your main scaling factors, as they provide another axis of scaling aside from attributes and increased damage and such. And the Bs are the only idle mod that have a weighting. They have a weighting of 90% reroll chance. So basically you're competing against only 0% reroll chance with a 90% reroll chance. So usually when you're running a body armor mod and look for a rare mod, and you have like, okay, let's look for plus levels, 86% reroll. It hits the plus level and it's like 86% reroll. No, you hit the 40%, you reroll, and then it hits a different plus level that again has an 86% reroll. So there it just looks again, okay, only 20, we jump to the next mod, whatever, and at some point you reroll for 5 mods and then you get back to your bleed mod and actually do have a decent chance of hitting your mods even with 86% reroll. Due to the idle mods all having a 0% reroll, your idle drops and it hits the B mod and it's like, okay, do we hit the B mod? 89% reroll or 90% reroll. No, we don't hit it. We hit any other mod, and that mod instantly is verified because it has 0% reroll, because all other mods have 0% reroll. So whenever you are trying to get your B mod, you basically just don't get. And this is why just getting these mediocre idols I do have cost me like 5 million favor, which is insane. Like, it's so much. I'm not sure if in Merchant Guild it's easier to get, because I don't think people are looking at B mods. So basically, you're very unlikely to find good rule B mods on the market as well, because most people will not even highlight them, and even if they highlight them, they are very difficult to get in combination with a different useful mod that also also is well rolled, because all of these mods have such huge roll ranges. Like Bs go from 3 to 7, and everything below 6 is pretty much unplayable. And then you have bleed, which goes from like 30 to 55, and you have attack speed, which goes from, I do believe, like 13 to 24 or something, and you have all that stuff. Like it's so difficult to get a well-rolled idol on this character that it's just so annoying. Or like, annoying is the wrong word, but I just don't find right word right now. It's just it's not a fun experience looking for the idols for the characters. You basically just spawn 2,000 idols and you're like, well, all of this is fucking useless, and on to the next 2,000. So yeah, very frustrating. That's the word I was looking for. It's very frustrating to look for these mods. And the same is true for the body armor. Just as I said in my example, all the plus level thingies, all the plus level mods have 86% reroll, and the bleed mods you need for the B build have 89. So they are, while this difference looks very small, there's about 25% rarer. So you're basically looking again for the most rare mods on the pieces you want to equip. So it's just insane. And this basically makes the build that is extremely expensive or time consuming to get into. Which also is not very rewarding power-wise, because you just don't really get a like high power build. When you throw together, just an example, because I played it a lot, a Zombie Druid, you basically feel the power at level 25, I do believe, is the breakpoint, or 30. where you can no 25 I do think, where you just can go full into tornado and have a fully working build. It's just working from the get-go. Like new cycle, level 25 your build is working and scaling from there on. For this one you basically have to farm a month for items to just start the character, and then it won't even be good. So in its current state it's just not good. But I don't want to rant too much, so just let's get to the last few points. Melee single target minions stacking the dot is just you are spawning minions over and over all the time, like a bee now, a bee now, a bee now, more bees, more bees, more bees, and these all swarm out, and you can, I know you can, target with the bees and say, hey, please attack this target, and they will do. But all minions spawning after you have made the attack target will then again random target. And this is again very annoying, because you have melee single target minions that stack a dot. And they take time to take down enemies, and as soon as there are too many enemies, basically you are overwhelmed, your minions are dying, your companions are dying, and you are spawning minions slower than they are killed. And you basically, as soon as there are too many enemies on a too high corruption, you basically just completely stop working. And this is different to other builds, like where you have, again, the Storm build Druid, for example. When I am against enemies that are overwhelming, I can run off, I can kite them, I can try to kill them one by one. But this doesn't work well on a character that tries to overwhelm the enemy with a mass of minions. When one enemy throws down a dot, and everything that runs into the dot immediately dies. So as soon as you hit a certain corruption point, and this is not true for like 200 corruption or 300 corruption on a strong character, because there the minions are tanky enough. Especially bees, the other minions, the wolves actually are decently tanky, but this brigand will just die all the time, it doesn't matter where. That you cannot really push a high corruption, because that's, for example, the ambush monolith, you go through, you use your potions for clearing, and you get some potions back, you have like 5 potions, and then suddenly the ambush comes and instantly kills half your minions. Because they throw 2 dots on the ground, they spawn 6 enemies, your minions swarm out, and you can try to focus one down, but usually just like half your minions just die instantly. And yeah, it's very, very frustrating. However, to finish this off on a positive note, I have to say this challenge was extremely fun. It was a very cool challenge. I had a lot of fun building the character, a lot of fun theory crafting the character, and I will have a lot of fun getting back to the character when they rework some of the mechanics around it. And overall, I do think it's a very, very cool character that has a lot of potential in the future, but it's just not there yet. The new belt tech with the change mod definitely is a step in the right direction for the build, and I do hope we get more of that. But yeah, for now I say thanks for watching. If this was helpful or you found it entertaining, me ranting about the build for half an hour, let me know in the comment sections, and see you on the next one.